Greetings, programs. This is Wretch, and welcome back to Shadowrun Hong Kong. We have 3 missions in front of us here, and we need to decide on which ones to take. We have the archaeological raid, we have the stopping of the serial killer, or the disruption of the feng shui at the corporate tower. I don't know which one we're going to take, but we also found out there's some other stuff here in town that we have not gone to yet. So before we take any mission, we're going to go ahead and see what exactly the rest of this town has to offer. And I think we'll end with Club 88 now that I know that we can go in there. But let's take a look around here. And I don't think we've headed over here to these boats. So this seems like a good place to start. And hi, Jin. As you approach the small landing, you see 3 men, 2 elders and a younger man, hunched over a go-board. The juxtaposition of the white-haired, white-bearded men and the black-haired man is almost comical. Together, the 3 resemble a small black and white stones of their game. Despite the variety of ambient distractions, the 3 men remain acutely focused on the game. One of the elders, a round-faced man with a good smile, carefully picks up a black stone and places it on the board. His opponent snorts, and a small smile flashes across his long face. Almost carelessly, he snatches a white stone and deposits it on the board. The smiling man groans, and the long-faced one proceeds to collect several black pieces off the board. "Ah, you got me there, Jin." He laughs, a pleasant, full sound. As it trails off, he spots you watching the game. A broad smile brightens his cheeks. "Why, hello there, young man. Something you need?" The long-faced man gives you a cursory look and continues to collect black stones. "Just a gawker, Shiyu. It's your turn." The name's Shan. Got a second for a question? Shiyu nods. "I could use a short break. How about you, Jin?" Jin sighs, shoulders slumping forwards. After a moment of scowling, he reluctantly speaks. "Fine. A short break." The 2 elders turn towards the younger man. He looks to be in his early 30s, but it's difficult to tell. Oh, the skin on his face is smooth and supple, with only the suggestions of creases at the eye, mouth, and forehead. But small gestures, a blink, a flare of his nostrils, briefly reveal the lines of his face. The man's eyes rise from the go-board and study the elders, and he nods. "Been having any strange dreams lately? I hear that it happens around here." The 3 men exchange looks, and Shiyu turns to you. "What a coincidence. It wasn't but an hour ago that we were all discussing that very thing. We have been having bad dreams. Every one of us." "I've had them myself. We should compare notes. What did you dream about?" "Is that right?" Jin leans in and stares at you. "Can't say I'm comfortable giving a stranger details about my dream." Shiyu waves his hand dismissively at Jin. "Don't mind him. He's always been a poor sport." But he raises a good point. Some of our dreams contain information best left private, just as yours do, I'm sure. Having just met, how can we be sure that you'll respect our personal information? "I'll tell you." The younger man's voice cuts through the din like a razor, and the elders fall silent. He turns to you and he locks his eyes, dark orbs that burn with piercing scrutiny onto yours. He nods and returns his gaze to the go-board. "I believe you're trustworthy. Please, Shan, make yourself comfortable. I'll share my dream with you." "Did I tell them my name?" Well, I appreciate it. Go ahead." He exhales slowly, then begins speaking. "I dreamed of a long, dingy hall. When faced with such a thing, one generally walks its length, so I lifted my right foot and placed it in front of me. But upon taking that first step, I found myself instead drawn down an alleyway to my left. It wasn't there before, this alley. It appeared only as I began to walk. As I moved down the alley, I found myself surrounded by friends and loved ones. They all stood there, silently watching me with smiles on their faces. And as I passed each one of them, they fell to the ground in my wake, dropping like puppets with severed strings. Somehow, I knew that if I followed this road to the end, I could have everything I'd ever dreamed of, but I woke before I could reach it." His hands fold into his lap. There's a moment of silence before Shiyu speaks up, the rosiness in his cheeks having drained away. "I too saw the long hall. My own experience was different, however. The hall was far off in the distance, and I was looking down on it from a strange angle, as though I were perched on a wall high above. He pauses and looks at you. You know, young man, Shan. You look very much like the person I saw walking that hall. He moved steadily down the path, walking at an even pace, and just behind him, a great and terrible shadow followed. That's foreboding. Of course, I didn't have the best view up there on that wall, or wherever I was. It could have been anyone. Perhaps this old mind of mine is seeing your face now and misremembering the dream. He lets out a chuckle, and a small flush of red returns to his cheeks. He looks over at Jin. All right, Jin, go ahead. Jin broods in his corner, arms crossed and jaws set. I've changed my mind. I don't want to share my dream. Nonsense. Master Lao and I have both told him our dreams, and now it's your turn. Master, huh? Jin sticks out his lower lip. No. No. Crosses his arms. It's fine. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. He holds his palm up towards you and looks at Shiyu. See? Straight from the horse's mouth. I don't have to. Jin. Lao's voice is firm, but soft. This is important. Jin's mouth opens and closes like a gasping fish, but as he looks at Lao, his body relaxes and a sadness seems to take hold of his features. All right. But don't you go repeating any of this, you hear me? He takes in a deep breath and slowly releases it, folds his hands in his lap. My dream began as a nightmare. I dreamed of the failures and mistakes that I've made throughout my life, the people I've let down, the competitors I've crushed, the wife who died in hospice without me. I dreamed of the family that I abandoned. A change comes over him. His eyes brighten and he continues energetically. But then I dreamed of the walled city. I stood before it, and its doors opened to me, and when I passed inside, all of my guilt fell away. It was as though the city had absolved me, had washed away my guilt, and I remember feeling happy. As his remembrance ends, so does his lightened mood. His face shrinks into a pout, and he stares grumpily at the ground. There, I did it. You happy? Lao nods slowly. Thank you, Jin. And you have my thanks, too. Yeah. Now, can we change the subject? My ulcer's acting up. I'm guessing you've been around these parts longer than I have. Is this sort of thing normal? If it were normal, we wouldn't be huddled around discussing them in whispers now, would we? Enough of that, Jin. Shan here asked in earnest for our advice. He deserves a proper response. Shiyu gives you a gentle smile. Please forgive our friend. Bitter years have left him suspicious of others. The answer to your question is no. Upsetting dreams have never been uncommon in Heoi, but these recent visitations have been different. They've been darker, more vivid, stronger than normal dreams. Last night I felt consumed by the sense that something was coming. While my friends here felt a sense of relief and excitement as their dreams ended, I felt as though I were sitting on the precipice of some vast and terrible chasm, with the void yawning beneath my feet. Suddenly his cheeks flush. He blinks twice and then looks away. But perhaps these are just the ramblings of an old man. Please forgive me. He scratches his nose, embarrassed. You speak wisely, Shiyu. It is foolish to embrace a thing that you do not understand. What Jin and I saw in our dreams was alluring, but so is the light to a moth. Your instincts are still strong and sharp, my old friend. It is wise that you trust them. Shiyu bows deeply, his eyes to the ground. Thank you. I can only hope these dreams do lead to something beautiful. There's already enough deception in this world. Jin groans loudly. Can we get back to the game now? Well, I don't want to keep you. Of course. Stop by again sometime soon, Shan. Your company has been refreshing. Thanks. Good luck with your game. Appreciate it, young man. We'll be seeing you. Now, I wonder what the deal with these three are. And Reliable Matthew. Now this is the drone seller. Smooth jazz drifts from cheap speakers on this barge. Oh, I love smooth jazz. A wide array of worn-down drones litter the battered deck. Most are utility and domestic types, but a few cordoned off from the others are low-end security models. The salesman smiles indulgently at you, a tall, lanky human of clear Cantonese ancestry. He's wearing a cheap suit and limply clutching a smelly cigar. He adjusts his tie with exaggerated nonchalance, languid, ostentatious, like an American casino promoter. Hey there, beautiful. Welcome to our little floating heaven. You've got a discerning look to you. What brings you to Reliable Matthew's Robot Bazaar? Careful, Shan. He taps Ash over a bulky cleaning drone beside him. Not waiting for an answer, he continues. Perhaps you're looking for a hexacopter as a guide to Hong Kong, or a little handheld tarantular, I don't know how to spell that, beauty to brew your tea. You're Reliable Matthew? That's right, Reliable Matthew Shun at your service. He extends his hand to shake. The odors of peach-scented moisturizer and stale tobacco smoke wash over you. How about it? Well, let's be polite. Pleasure to meet you, Reliable Matthew. Always, always. Welcome to our little patch of peace on the river. I think you'll really love Heoi. It's just a fantastic place. Well, now that we're acquainted, maybe I can brighten up your day a bit. What's on your robot list, friend? Are you calling me beautiful? Yeah, look at that face. That gorgeous face. You know it, beautiful. I hope I don't offend. I just can't help it. To me, everyone's beautiful, baby. Okay, then. What can I say? I can't hold back. It's just such a great world. And we don't need to look at the combat models, so... You take care now. Indeed. Now, is there anything over here that we need? Oh! What's this place? Parlor of 5 Phases. Now, this is where we buy magical accoutrements. And Crafty Zhu. I'm really surprised that I walked in here and Algernon isn't in here from Shadowrun Returns or from Track and Fall. I'm sure we may see him before the game's over. A mild scent, sweet and slightly herbal, is the first thing you notice upon entering the old shop. Its quarters are cramped, made smaller by the display cases and furniture packed inside. The walls are lined with bookshelves, and the tables and chairs are stacked with old tomes. A few titles jump out at you. Lucid Dreaming, an exploration of the inner self, dream logic, and nocturnal visitations. Overall, the place feels lived in, if disorganized. Not quite cluttered, but close. Looks like she's reading up on dreams, too. Milling at the front of the store is the shopkeeper, lost in a book of her own. She's tall for a human, probably close to 2 meters in height. Her physique is typical bookworm. Not overweight, but you can't see any muscular definition either. A wraparound tattoo covers her upper arms and shoulders, but from where you're standing, you can't quite make it out. She fidgets. Gradually, her eyes rise from her book and lock onto you. Nice hairstyle. Welcome. Don't believe I've seen you here before. She sets down her book and sweeps a strand of black and pink hair behind her ear. Name's Crafty. Shan, nice to meet you. She shakes your hand. Her grip is surprisingly firm. So, Shan, what can I do for you? I've got spells, alchemical regents, focuses, whatever you want, really. Might have to do some digging to find it, but if it's magical, it's around here somewhere. We don't need to see any of the wares. Say, Crafty, have you had any vivid dreams lately? Her face is unreadable. Her eyes lock onto yours. As a matter of fact, I have, Shan. But we all get the occasional vivid dream. Nothing special there. Gesture to the books on the tabletop. Really? Then why are you reading up on them? She flicks her wrist dismissively. Sure, it's a little weird that we're having them, but these types of dreams are common in the walled city. Nothing to get worked up about. Probably. Strange. I met someone the other day who said that too. She nods. Anyone who's familiar with the walled city would know that, but most people don't go out of their way to find out. My mother devoted her life to researching the walled city and the magical phenomenon within it, so I grew up with stories about the city, the recurrent, creepy dreams being one of them. They're common, then? She nods. Common as the cold. My mother devoted her life to researching the walled city and the magical phenomenon within it, so I grew up with stories about the city, the recurrent, creepy dreams being one of them. I've never been inside the walled city myself, but Mom went in pretty regularly and experienced the dreams. I think we read that paragraph already. Your mom sounds like an interesting person. The sides of her mouth dip into a shallow frown. Sure, she was interesting, but not praiseworthy. Is this your store, or do you just work here? It's mine. I inherited from my mom. As you can see, she generously left me all of her research journals. Her words are thick with sarcasm. Mom was never a big cleaner, but neither am I. My mom used to keep spirits around that helped her manage the place. They're not here anymore, but sometimes I swear my books aren't where I last placed them. Who knows? Maybe they pop by for visits. I just wish they'd clean while they were here. What makes this store so special? It's old, respectable, built over a dragon line. She slightly tilts her head to the side. We also carry text unavailable anywhere else, but I guess for me, I'm drawn to this place by the nostalgia. How do you like working here? Well, wait a minute. Yeah. It's a job. Can't complain. I'd love to own a place like this. What's with the name of the store? It's a cultural thing. The 5 phases represent wood, earth, water, fire, and metal. Some people believe they're the basis of how things function and interact in this world. You'll find it practiced all throughout China, in disciplines ranging from farming to science, even music. The theory isn't common among younger generations, but it has its uses. My mother was strongly influenced by it. In fact, her sign out front is a visual representation of the cycle of 5 phases. It was an inspiration to her. She raises a shoulder in a half shrug. I just think it looks neat. Let's see what else we can ask her. Well, tell me about yourself then, Crafty. She raises a shoulder in a half shrug. I'm not sure where to start. What do you want to know? Now, the reason I'm asking all these questions is there were also jobs available from the vendors at certain times as well. So we want to get as many jobs as we possibly can, and maybe some good storyline as well. Well, what do you do when you're not at work? That's a personal question. I've been pretty crunched here at the shop, so I don't have a lot of time outside of work. But when I'm off the clock, I like to read and paint, maybe kick back and enjoy a meal with my friends. My buddy Gobbet sometimes stops by with food. Hey, no drag racing or anything. Pretty boring. I know a Gobbet. Wonder if they're the same person. You know a lot of Gobbets? Her teasing resolves itself into a gentle smirk. I'm sure they're one and the same. She's a good person. We're not real close, but we have a pleasant relationship, chatting over French fries, discussing our latest reads. You know, shallow things. I guess that makes sense because Gobbet would be a regular customer here. How do you know her? Ooh. Just met, actually. Good. Keep her by your side. Gobbet's pretty fluent in the ways of this city and the people who live here. She knows her stuff. If you stick with her, you'll find yourself in a lot less trouble than you would otherwise. You said you paint? Just for fun. I don't make any money off it or anything like that. I just find it relaxing. She pats her arms. Design my tattoos, but that's about the extent that I can take it beyond the canvas. Mind if I see that tattoo? I can't quite make it out from here. No, let's not do that. I'd like to see your paintings sometime. Some of them are around the shop. You're welcome to take a look. And what do you like to read? Crafty claps her hands together and a slow smile spreads across her face. Aside from the usual, I love sitting down each morning to a tall cup of soy calf with the latest news stream on hand. I pop it right open to the obituaries. Makes for great reading. She smiles at you for a moment before speaking. Kidding. Well, for all you know. I like her sense of humor. I tend to stray towards detective novels, maybe some suspense and horror. When I'm not reading for leisure, I study my textbooks and keep my magic sharp. Sounds fun. Is Crafty really your first name? No. A wave of nostalgia seems to pull her gaze toward the shop's front window. The name started out as a joke, actually. Back home, my mom used to call me Crafty, since the meaning is similar to my given name. I liked it because of the way it sounds. He insisted that my family call me Crafty, so it became a sort of nickname around the house. When I got older and started school in Hong Kong, I made my mom register me as Crafty, and it stuck. Let me guess. Your first name is Phyllis. Yes. Wait, seriously? It's true. She covers her eyes with her hand and her voice deepens. She sounds close to tears. I was born a Phyllis. Bless her heart. When she looks back at you, her eyes are pleading. Now that you've uncovered the truth, what will you do about it? Oh, Crafty. I mean Phyllis. Phyllis, I'm so sorry. Shoulders slump, her eyes grow heavy. Her voice is now hardly louder than a whisper. You don't have to apologize. This is my burden. But please, don't tell anyone. My reputation will be ruined. Yeah, I know she's playing us, but I love her sense of humor. Your secret's safe with me. Her act shatters as you see her struggling to hold back a smile. I see what's going on here. The temptation was too great. Anyway, name's Meow. No cat jokes. I mean it. Now, where were we? Oh, Meow. Your mother sounds like quite the mage. Did you study magic too? I sure did. Natural predisposition. She flexes her arm, or whatever. But Mom and I learned the craft differently. I went to a university and she was book taught. Mom was very old school. Her magic wasn't as applicable to everyday situations, but it was rooted in superstitions. It still worked, and, well, but only for more ritualistic ancient spells. Practical spells like rain shields and bottomless trash cans were outside of her repertoire. Back on topic. And what else do you know about the walled city? We need to get as much intel about this place as possible, and I think the magic vendor would probably be one of the best people. Very little, just that my mother spent most of her time in there, and she shifts her weight, leans onto the counter. Well, it messed her up. Is there something specific you want to know about? What can you tell me about the city? She runs a hand through her hair and exhales. Where to begin? The walled city's always been a hellhole. It started a bad place, it's still a bad place. Crime's drawn to it like a magnet, and you can't enter the city without a security guard on each elbow, but not even that will guarantee you safe passage. No one famous or rich or memorable has ever come from the place, and the only thing it's known for around here is its crappy reputation. She shrugs loosely, and that's about the gist of it. Now, there's a whole library here that just so happens to be the foremost location for walled city texts. I'm sure you can fill in the blanks. I get the feeling that your relationship with your mother was unusual. You better believe it. She was obsessed with the walled city, put it before everyone in her life. Mom ate, slept, and breathed that city. Was something fueling her obsession? Crafty shifts her gaze to a stack of books on a nearby table. Yeah, actually. Mom was convinced that something was wrong with the place, that it was cursed in some way, polluted with unnaturally bad qi. She'd visit the city under the protection of the Yellow Lotus and spent hours, sometimes days, studying it. Crafty tears her gaze away from the books and returns her gaze to you. Mother was consumed by her research. Did she ever find anything? She sure tried. Mom thought she could find a way to purify the place and to exorcise its demons. Her obsession with the walled city grew, and she devoted more and more of her life to breaking its curse. Wish I could say she fell off the radar, but really, the rest of the world fell off of hers. I'm sorry, Crafty. That must have been hard for you. It is what it is, and here I am. Crafty gives you a warm smile. Sounds to me like you don't believe in your mother's research. You can see Crafty studying you. She exhales through her nose, and it seems as if she's considering something. I know we've just met, Shan, but you have a generous ear. I don't mind discussing my mother with you as long as we keep the details between us. Mother's research was stupid. Just plain stupid. She wasn't stupid herself, no. Mom was very bright, but her obsession was downright unhealthy. Anyone could see that. The walled city is a toxic place, home to dark spirits and astral influence, but Mom believed in a singular curse at the heart of the place. How did you two fall out? My mother failed to change the walled city, and the time she spent inside there changed her. She grew sickly and became moody, irritable. She suffered from night terrors the rest of her life. Crafty languidly sweeps a small clump of dust off a nearby book. Must have been difficult to watch her decline like that. She points a finger at you. It wasn't just that. The breaking point for me was her ridiculous obsession. I refused to indulge her, and it drove a wedge between us. Neither of us were willing to relent. A small, bitter laugh escapes her throat. I guess we had that in common. Stubborn till the end. So, after Mom died, I turned my back on her work and left the walled city and its people to themselves. It's a toxic site beyond rehabilitation. I do my best to ignore it. Her composure breaks for a second. You can see Crafty shift nervously behind the counter. At least I've tried. Now that these dreams, these nightmares are leaking out of the walled city, I wonder if I can still ignore it. Well, we always have a choice. You're right, but not everyone's choices are weighted evenly, and I just don't think I can turn a blind eye to what's happening here. She loosely gestures to the bookshelves all over the shop. I have my mother's journals. I have the means to try and help. It's sure to dredge up bad memories, but if it'll help my friends, maybe it'll be worth it. I don't know. Guess I have a lot to think about. She crosses her arms and wraps her fingers against her skin. Anyway, thanks for lending me that ear of yours, and that's why we're talking to all these people. This might actually help out the plot. I've been thinking about the dreams. Can I ask you something? She nods. Go ahead. Why do you think they're affecting people outside the walled city? It's definitely strange. Until now, I always thought the dreams were nonsense, that my mother had just had night terrors because of her madness. She props her chin up with her right hand. But now it's really happening. And not just to me, to others around Heoi. These same psychic forces that drove Mom insane are edging into our subconscious. Lately I've been wondering if there might have been something to her ravings. Maybe. I've been skeptical for so long, it seems almost blasphemous to consider it. Maybe the walled city's curse is real. She rubs her hand down her face, obviously frustrated. I just don't know. Maybe you can learn something from your mom's journals. That's true, but my mother's notes were scattered all over the shop. Most of her research is scrawled in the margins of the books that you see on the shelves and piles and stacks all over. The clues we need to figure this thing out could be in any one of these volumes, and there are thousands of them. Well, I have a bad feeling about these dreams, Crafty. If there's anything we can do to get to the bottom of them, we need to take that opportunity. She sighs and straightens up. Yeah, I know what I have to do. It's just... Damn, look at them all. She tiredly looks down at the book she was reading earlier. Guess I won't be finishing this one anytime soon. Alright, Shan, I'm going to get started. Now, but it'll take time. The House of Five Phases is jammed from floor to ceiling with books, and any one of them could hold valuable information. Check in once in a while, and I'll share my findings with you. You're doing the right thing. I'll do what I can, too. Thanks. I appreciate that. Thank you, Crafty. See you around. See, this is already borne fruit for us. Now, I know it's getting a bit late in the episode, but I do want to go ahead and check the rest of this place out. We still need to go to Club 88 and see if there's anything in there. And I think Club 88's might be the only place that we haven't checked out yet. So let's head over there and have Shan hustle. Hopefully they'll let us in. Where are you, Shan? There you are. Hustle, hustle. Frederick Cuffey. Like most troll bouncers... Ah, cool, we can go in. This man is knotted with muscles, but absent are the myriad scars that come with age or indiscretion. His only blemishes are the bony skin growths common to his kind, and a single deep scar across his neck and collarbone. You watch yourself in there, or else we check your aerodynamics. How do you mean? Anyone causes trouble, I see how far I can throw them. No fighting, no killing, no sex trade. He lifts an arm, flexing. His muscles jump out like a mass of serpents and steel cabling. His arm is easily as thick as most humans' waists. I don't mess around. Indeed, and you got that cat on your shoulder. So now we can go into Club 88. Let's see what it's like. Ah. I like the music. Henry. There's only one way to describe the troll haunting the back of Club 88. Weathered. It is the man that has been carved from granite and then battered by the crash of waves and salty winds over the course of decades. Welcome to Club 88. No killing, no fighting, no sex trade. I can respect that. I'm Shan. I'm Henry Kafai. I suppose I own this place. If you're looking for guns, speak to my wife. If you're looking for pharmas, speak to my son Colum. And if you're looking for trouble, you'll be seeing my son Frederick, briefly. And what would I speak to you about? Nothing. I just steer the ship. What ship? There's always a ship. Fair enough, sir. Oh, I love the music. I have the soundtrack to this game, too. I think I know what I'm going to be jamming out to today. Callum. So this is the Pharma Dealer. Better groomed than most of his kind, the young troll nonetheless ruins the effort with his own blatant drunkenness. His eyes are red and his expression foggy, but he otherwise appears to be high-functioning. Have a drink, friend. Have two. And maybe something else to chase it, eh? You alright? Couldn't be better. I'm a prince of Club 88. Chosen, you might say. You part of the family that owns this place? You're a shrewd one, friend. I'm the heir apparent, and my birthright? To peddle chems to every sniffer that passes through our gates. What do you say? Need something to pick you up, or bring you down? Not right now, thanks. Interesting. Now, I said that we could buy guns from his wife. Well, yeah, obviously they wouldn't keep the guns in the front. Maybe... Hi there, turrets. Ermine. The older troll woman has a striking Amazonian quality. When she was younger, she must have really turned heads. Probably literally. Can I help you? You in charge here? Don't you forget it. This is my family's place. Me, my husband, and our two boys. Now, do you have business with me? I have no time for window shoppers. Firearms from all over the world, from Ares to Walther to everything in between. You in the market? Maybe another time. Very well. Was there something else? What can you tell me about Heoi? There's only one thing you need to know. The corporations do not rule Heoi. We're under Kindly Cheng's umbrella, and her Yellow Lotus soldiers protect the docks and maintain the peace. But we're not Triad members, and they don't own us. Heoi is a crossroads, where goods change hands and deals are made. Kindly makes the market, but we, the families, make it happen. Armin speaks with the pride of a woman who bows politely to great powers, but never prostrates herself before them. Families rebuilt this place when it was left to rot, strong families like mine, and we protect our own. Outsiders and corps know that tangling with Heoi is more trouble than we are worth. Triads know it is better to work with us than against us, and now you know these things as well. You do well to remember them. Now, are you looking to buy? No, I am not. And that's pretty much it from Club 88, it looks like. Alright, guys. Well, it looks like we have finished up all the vendors and denizens of Heoi at the moment. I'm going to take a last look around, and then in the next episode, we are going to choose what quest we are going to take and get on that job. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you liked the video, go ahead and click like down below, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help, and we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.